throw this video out there?
Good question. I should have maybe started streaming while I was doing... no, my voice. My awful, awful voice. The one thing I forgot to put credits in the videos that I used for this. I feel bad. But I'd feel worse if I was putting it on YouTube. But I figured...
It's okay.
Yeah, it's on Twitch.
Wait, doesn't this go onto YouTube? The VODs?
Oh. Man, it's a 20-minute render. Don't make me do it again, You better be impressed. I crammed this together in 45 minutes at 11, Hey, I watched it. It's good. I did a good job. It's only the audio leveling I'm gonna have to babysit.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna have to bite my tongue because you're gonna be a few seconds behind. So I'm gonna have to kind of play it by your reaction. Wow, a whole 6 viewers.
Woohoo. Hello, all 6 of us. Congratulations. You have unlocked a super secret special stream. Welcome to morning. It is mildly painful with Chris and mildly animated? No. Videoated with Noot. Videoated. What's a better word for that? Mm-hmm.
No, I downloaded... Okay, somebody tried to upload a video of all the changes from, that are in the New Game Plus, but they were missing a shitload of them, so I crammed together a video from that. Like, I split that video up and filled it with the stuff that it was missing. And also, I did a little intro at the start that blends the, ending of the original ending with the start of New Game Plus.
Solid tip top of the morning to you, Alizard.
And yet he's the one that slept in, huh?
Yep. So I totally forgot I'd offered to stream here Monday morning.
You bastard.
Hey, I still need to be approved. No. No. I'm not even going to be anywhere with internet, man. I'm not streaming over my cell phone.
So anyway, I think this ending... It makes the story better, but I can't... But I'm going to have to chalk this up to one of those games where I didn't enjoy the gameplay, but I love the story. Which can happen, I guess. Do be like that.
Yeah, that is fair. I've played a few games where the gameplay was much worse than the story.
Yeah. And this sort of brings it all. I like the ending, I just don't think it's worth another 40 hours of gameplay.
Like, some games have much worse gameplay than the story, but that's because they could always make their gameplay worse. I'm thinking of 3D Lemmings.
Resident Evil 4, that's a game I could play until... If I had to play one game for all eternity, it would be Resident Evil 4. I must have like 100 playthroughs of that game, and that's not exaggerating. Because you have to keep in mind it came out in 2004, and then we got the remaster, and then we got VR, and then we got the remake, and I played all of them.
Morning, Itamu. Itamu redeemed a pet there. Noot.
Let me see if I got a kitty in the area. If I
Yeah.
don't, I will pet one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I'll
Alizard.
pet both of them on the first break.
Yeah. Alizard 3D Lemmings is a PlayStation 1 game. You have 4 camera angles, none of which are useful. And you don't have a pause button on most levels. And there are
Explain lemmings while I pour my coffee.
there are over 100 levels that you have to play in order to get the story. It is given to you in half cutscene, half text in every 10th level. Yep. Oh, no, it was one of the first games that I got uh for my PlayStation 1. And yeah, I was like, why is this enjoyable? I don't know. I usually went back to playing my NES after playing it. Because I was just disappointed. Morning there, rise from the sea. The seer, Itamu. Oh,
All
sorry.
right.
The seer. Sir. Oh no, that's my dad. You can call me bastard or you. I'll go with those as my pronouns this morning. Hey, you bastard. You can even do that.
All right. So everybody, just because, you know how no two videos from two different people are going to have the right audio level, or the same audio level necessarily. Y'all just might want. I'll babysit my audio on my end, and you guys should maybe babysit the audio on your end, and just until the video's done. So
I'm on the volume knob. I'm good to go.
yeah, 3 different audio levels. Let's go. It's actually 3 uploaders. All right.
Remember, audio levels mean no. Changing audio levels means no loss of fidelity.
Yeah.
It's science.
Remember, you gotta be watching the stream, eh?
Yeah, I am.
It's a spiral. What if this is still the dark place? Another dream to wake up from, always coming back to the beginning. The memory of what came before burned away by this terrible realization. Maybe it's a mercy, forgetting. To know nothing when we loop around, back to the beginning. With the memory of the past loop already fading fast. But while it lingers, I know there's hope.
Is it?
We're not doomed to repeat.
There is supposed to be video, What the fuck?
Yeah. I'm going to say.
There we go. Wrong capture thing.
Yeah.
All right, let me know if this works. I would imagine you all saw Alan's face for a second there. It worked?
It's a spiral. What if this is still the dark place? Another dream to wake up from, always coming back to the beginning. The memory of what came before burned away by this terrible realization. Maybe it's a mercy, forgetting. To know nothing when we loop around, back to the beginning. With the memory of the past loop already fading fast. But while it lingers, I know there's hope. We're not doomed to repeat our failures in an eternal loop. This is a spiral.
Oh my god, bro. Why would you open on that window, I tried to full screen it and it opened on my other monitor. Okay, I guess we're dealing with that then, huh?
A fictional poet once said, "Beyond the shadow you settle for, there is a miracle illuminated. I will not settle for a shadow. I'll find the miracle through the night." It's not just victims and monsters. I see now there are heroes as well. We can find our way through the darkness, We will break through the surface. We will emerge into the light.
And yeah, there wouldn't be much fixing that in the middle of a stream, trying to figure out how to get it off a third monitor that doesn't exist.
Daga bent down to inspect the body on the table. Somehow it felt familiar. The straps, the heart, the mutilated corpse laying on the rain-soaked wood. Like deja vu. She chased the source of the feeling. Found nothing. None of the victims from her past cases resembled this one. It didn't feel like anything from her past. More like something from a dream. From a life she could barely remember. Maybe one that wasn't even hers. Then the feeling passed. Like a shadow in the trees shifting with the wind. Saga blinked, shook the feeling from her head. She turned her focus back on the work. There was a lot to do. In case the deputy were watching her, she had a feeling this would be an exciting case.
Nah, I'll be fine.
Time is broken here. Maybe time never worked the way we think it does. It loops around. And yet it goes forward. A spiral.
Time cube.
I thought I was finding remnants of the earlier loops, earlier drafts of my writing. Familiar sights. That I had left clues, mementos for myself to guide me on, but maybe that's only part of it. If time is not a straight line, then there are loops beyond these loops. Vast complex superstructures beyond what's happening to me now, ahead of me. And I'm there as well, a version of me, something I have become, some elevated, enlightened virgin, an archon, a demiurge, a demon of some sort, playing a secret game, building something.
This static also did not help the audio editing at all.
I hate the idea, a crazy, intrusive thought. And yet, no crazier than anything else here. Which version of myself was I? Where was I in this grand loop? The writer of the first word, not the writer of the last. With the terror of the light and the shadow cast. The third eye now open to project the night. This is the moment to write. This is the ritual to lead you on. Your friends will meet him when you are gone.
This is Dr. Casper Darling, formerly of the Federal Bureau of Control.
Hey.
I think the signal is coming through now. Are you receiving me? Something shifted. The previously observed interference disrupting my broadcast has gone. Fluctuation in gravitational forces. Either something moved out of the way or my relative position to it changed. But the alignment or the condition of this whole plane spiraled to a more favorable position.
Man, I don't know this guy, but his voice sure is great, says Alan.
The ordinary rules of reality do not apply here. Best I can describe, this place is a dreamscape. But who's the dreamer? And how do you wake up from this dream? I've been taking readings with the limited equipment I've been able to secure. Some riveting data accumulating. Hypotheses taking shape. My struggle with this is that the way this place works makes any hypothesis immediately come back to alter and contaminate the data.
Ooh, that sucks.
Anyway, I've been working to capture and isolate.
Imagine trying to quantify this, but what... Every hypothesis you make makes itself come true. Oh my god, a coat hanger.
There. The deeper into the dark depths I got, peeling off the layers of the dark place. like the ocean zones. From twilight at midnight to abyssal to the deep trenches. The closer up I'm going now, feeling off. This voice, the narration, from twilight to midnight to abyssal to keeps going forever.
Is it possible he's orbiting something and that's why he can't quite, or he can only catch it
Place together, it's making it
every
real.
once in a while?
Is this the voice of the dreamer? What's strange is it sounds a little bit like my voice.
Maybe.
If you haven't caught on yet, that's Alan Wake's voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in control, obviously.
Oh, really, Anderson? The salt shaker? We've come to this? You loosened the top while I was getting the napkins? Didn't you? Ah, it's in my pockets. It's in my shoes.
Casey, trust me.
Stop laughing.
I know he does.
Good evening. A writer trapped in a dream world attempts to write a story to shape reality around him and escape. He is beset by visions leaking in from realities beyond his own. He uses those visions as inspiration for his stories, in hopes of giving them power, to make them come true. Us, hidden few, know that ultimately he will succeed. But before that, many of his stories collapse back into the stuff that dreams are made of, to remain as they began, works of fiction. And yet, maybe there is a gleam of truth to be unearthed from these tales. A rare glimpse into the unseen realities beyond our own, offering us intriguing avenues of contemplation as they transpire in
Night Springs.
Night Springs.
Dun dun dun.
A bullet of light to push the darkness away.
These were Alice's photos. I recognized the style. One showed the clicker sinking into darkness. The other showed a light in the shape of a bullet. They were important, even if I didn't know what to do with them yet. Pale balloon in the sky, float and sink deeper. Night springs when bright falls for this sleeper. The surface disturbed, the reflection now a traitor. In the cavity of the skull, turned to a crater. This is the ritual to lead you on. Your friends will meet him when you are gone.
Time as a linear construct does not apply to this place. I mean, is it because I never truly believed that was time's true nature and this place is reacting to my thoughts, or some other more fundamental reason? I don't know. That said, to the best of my calculations, subjectively, this is my day 665.
Neighbor of the Beast.
It's a long time. I have explored every conceivable avenue of research, exhausted every scientific method of investigation I know, all
Neighbor of the wrong address of the beast.
I feel like I need something else. Something else entirely. Some mad, creative mindset to help me.
He looks tired.
Not a scientist, an artist.
Mm-hmm.
This is a place for an artist. Oh. Oh. Hey, man, how you doing? Hello. Darling, Dr. Casper Darling, it is so good to meet you. Well, hello, darling. I'm Tom. Tom Zay. Have we met? You look familiar. Well, you sound familiar. Hold on. You work out a lot, don't you?
Oh my God.
Look at you. You're swole. Well, I am active. Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing.
You would
Imagine
have no
editing
way out
this
of here,
without
would you?
having to, without watching it.
A drink? Oh, cheers. Keep it. You know what? You and I, we should join forces. Come up with a plan for escape. Art and science. combine to form an unstoppable force. Yes.
Jim Morrison
Yes,
of the Doors.
yes. We have to start to methodically test and eliminate.
He does look like Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Which you could wildly improve.
Dr. Jules Marmont sprinted down the
Complete with
corridor.
the unbuttoned
His
shirt.
lab coat fluttered after him. Red lights flashed on the walls. Sirens screamed. Marmont couldn't stop smiling. It was his experiment that had triggered the alarms. In his world, alarms meant progress. This could be the breakthrough he had been waiting for. He would be the one to get his name in the annals of FBC history. Not as White Diana. Not Darling, that smirking asshole. At the far end of the corridor, the lights suddenly blinked out. The red lights went dark with increasing speed. A wall of darkness rushing toward him. The alarms warbled and died. Marmont stopped in his tracks. He admired the purity of the darkness as it swallowed him. A final spark of pride flashed through his mind. This was his work. His breakthrough.
No, Chris, are you stupid? That's just a character. The diver's just a character he plays in a movie.
What was that? Like a ray of warm light, I felt her presence. It gave me strength to go on. Lost on the shore between the
I wasn't sure if the
forest and the
diver
ocean,
became
the
real.
owl and the deer reflected in motion.
Oh, that's the
In his
toughie. How do you
room, he
know?
will hurt her. In hers, he is caught.
No.
His story ends. Her story does not. This is the ritual to lead you on. Your friends will meet him when you are gone.
So good to see you.
Hey!
Glad we caught you, kiddo. We missed you first time around.
First time?
Notice how they went in to find her, but we
We've been
never ended up
performing
meeting in the
outdoor
first game.
show. We finally buried the hatchet.
The first
I
playthrough.
haven't buried shit, bro. We're just helping Tom.
They had to wait out an entire other loop, huh?
I'm leaving the dark place. Come with me.
Our time back there is done. But you got this, dear Saga. Lottie has set up a puddle for you to swim out of. Once more with feeling.
I wish we'd gotten more time together.
This isn't goodbye, kiddo. Tom told us not to say anything about what's coming. But we'll see each other again.
The surface of the lake was a black mirror. The upside-down reflection identical yet darker. A window into a darker world than ours. A doorway. A hush so profound it rang like a scream. As if the last echo of the terror had just died. Inside the steep cliffs of the caldera, everything echoed. An echo chamber. Like a fractured skull. A shadow fell on Cauldron Lake. Something of impossible scale loomed over it, blocking the sky. Ati, the janitor, leaned close. Took a hold of the rim of the crater. Lifted up his janitor's bucket. The water sloshed.
This is the
swirled
transition
inside
I'm
like a
most proud of,
vortex. Gently humming a tango, he poured the water on the attic floor.
Nice.
Alan?
Saga, I finished it. The ending we talked about.
I have the clicker and the bullet of light. Let's do this. I have to be the one to do it.
I see it clearly now. This part at least.
Okay.
We have met here before. Time loops in the dark place. Every choice you make affects everything that comes before and after you make it.
He's here.
Like it does when you change a detail in a story you're writing.
Casey?
Stretch. Now.
When the bullet of light blew the darkness out of the crater of my skull, the dark presence was born from the remains, feeding on the horror around it to grow.
That's right, he created the Dark Presence, or rather it was created from him, to go back in time to start the whole entire fucking thing.
Yay!
It found me writing. It tapped into me. Influenced me. I was lost in my work. The link was severed when I finished Return, but the Dark Presence was hungry for more. And I was missing the small part of myself that it had been born from. Alice, love is strange. Even apart, we're still together in our memories. We put each other through hell to set us free. Again and again. Different versions of us. Alice helped me get there. Where I needed to be. It has taken so long. The process to change reality is so delicate. To be true in just the right way and still find a way past our flaws. So many drafts, so many photographs, so many lives lived outside of time. An eternity apart on this journey to finally arrive here.
Is it over? Anderson?
Logan? Logan! Are you alright?
I had a terrible nightmare.
That gave me chills when she answered.
Oh, baby. It's over now. You're alright. I'm here. I'm on my way home. I love you. She's alright.
The ending worked. Scratch is gone.
At last.
Thank you, my love. And so I return. With me I bear the torch of knowledge, the light, the miracle illuminated, the master of two worlds. No, the master of many worlds.
Yay! We did it! We're heroes!
We saved the city!
Yay! Wait, what?
1 second. Just gonna change audio.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Changed audio.
So, somebody pointed, or a video I watched pointed something out very important, which is that that ending was locked off until after they started getting the accolades and awards in. And the reason for that is the only way you can change things properly in the dark place is for the story to properly resonate, which means it needed an audience, which was us. And we, the fools that we are, giving it a 10 out of 10 and 9 out of 9, it made it very clear that the story resonated with us, and as such, it earned the right to become reality. Which is
if
very,
the score goes low enough, we could give it a new ending.
But no, they just wouldn't have given it. They just wouldn't have released that ending, supposedly.
Yeah. Thanks for us. Thanks to have you join us, by the way, Zeus, Bahama Mama, and Dan.
Bahamba Bamba.
I mean, I guess that's one way to pronounce that.
Bamba Hamba.
Ooh.
Definitely not worth a second playthrough, but it was definitely worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Her. Yay! Alright, what do you say we take 5 and we will get nestled into the hellhole that is the house?
Sounds like a plan.
Alright.
Dan, at least it's not whatever those games were that are prequels to what's the game with the robots? Like the robots fighting other robots and let's see here. It's got like a character named 2B or something.
I'm not sure. Hang on, my 5 minutes hasn't actually started. I'm just changing the game. No, my awful voice. I don't want to listen to that. Who wants to listen to that? I just want to change the game. I needed to make it Alan Wake 2 so that nobody came in blindly and saw ultra mega spoilers.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, Nier and Nier Automata had so many endings from someone I know who was a fan that it was just awful.
Near and far automata. Near and far and wherever you are.
Yeah. No, Nier had endings like giant babies coming from the sky or something. It was weird. Anywho, I'll be right back. Yeah, I kind of wish there was more Titanfall games. I know, like honestly, I even missed some of the Titanfall fanfic because it actually had that good of a story.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Oh. I started streaming in Discord.
Okay, do we? And then swap things around. Mm-hmm. Well done. I mean, there's some fictions that I read that are... I go to their specific chapter or, like, their ending, because it still, like, twinges with me every time I read it. There's a piece of serial fiction that the entire chapter is named 1 minute and 34 seconds, and, like, my breath hitches every single time I read it. It's not even like an ending chapter or the start of a new book in the fiction. It's just a chapter.
Alright, fellas, we're gonna do something that I've wanted to do for the entire time I've played this.
We're gonna buy an excessively expensive house.
You want something grand and opulent, something that shows off your wealth.
1 second. Just choking down water. There we go. A huge, ostentatious building in the Twilight Gardens, complete with a dozen scurrying cooks and servants. Tucked away behind sprawling walls can be found an expansive garden, complete with a hedgerow maze, a folly, and an ornamental rockery. Are you sure you want to buy this? It will cost 100,000 guinea.
Hell yeah! Yeah.
The gardens are reserved for the richest and most respected personages in the city, and even the usually omnipresent smog is kept away by some discreet alt method.
Yeah.
Dogs, I would say there is as many doors as you have need of.
Pretty much. So we got ourselves a new doctor. He's a plague doctor and definitely not a weirdo. Let's invite him to our house.
You choose a good evening. The tides of plague are on the ebb tonight. I can drop my guard for the moment. You ask if he's going to take off his beaked mask so he can eat or drink. He shrugs irritably. Of course not. He speaks only in curt sentences. How is he? He is fine. What has he been doing recently? Many things. What are they? He'd rather not say. Silence.
I think that was the last stream we did, actually, Lizard. Let's see if we can talk Vanch into talking about something else.
It takes a lot of gentle coaxing, but you finally stumble onto a topic which draws more than a few words from Dr. Vanch. He now sees theaters in the City of Masks as hives of plague, but once in a former life, he walked the stage. Played the greatest roles, the uncrowned king, Lord Leo Rampant, Dan Karkadan. I was never good with comedy, but my turn as Satirius was much derided, but there wasn't a better dramatic performer in all the city. He pauses. But I am forgotten now. The plague hit at the height of my fame, and the theaters were closed for years.
He leaves not long after. As he departs, he grips your shoulder in a black gloved hand. Oh, I need news from the place with the thing. You know the one.
And the stuff. Yeah, I was trying to give the Plague Doctor the voice from the narrator of the original Baldur's Gate.
Just three crates of experimental weaponry in my shed, no biggie.
Morning, Grimace. I mean, where else would you leave it? In Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, I leave a bucket of landmines right beside the passenger seat.
Nice. When I'm driving really fast, I have to hold them with one hand and steer with the other,
No, I have the, schizophrenic do that.
Do you have a guy who has to have the mine bucket on their lap while you drive? I mean, at that range, you're not in any less danger than he is.
Hey. I give him enough psychotic medications when he's not strapped down to the bed. But yeah, no, a lot of my passengers in Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, I put a 5-point harness on a bed, and that's for the, my passengers sometimes stay.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, like, you can put a seat belt on a seat, or you can put a 5-point harness, and the 5-point harness is better in crashes. So why not do the same thing for the sleeping bed? You can put a seat belt on the bed, or you can put a 5-point harness on the bed. Just in case, you know? Just in case.
Oh, I can't leave without my stash of delicious meat.
Mm-hmm. Is it made from mushroom? Mushroom people? Mushroom brainstem?
No, it is not made from mushroom people. I can assure you that. There is not a single bit of mushroom person in this. Have you noticed how I have no prisoners, by the way? I'm being really streamlined about this.
Is it made from bat people?
Made
from bat people.
Have you noticed how streamlined I am? I have, like, no human prisoners. How cool is that?
What else could it be possibly made out of? Maybe it's from the, from animal people. Is it made from animal people?
It's not made from animal people, that's for sure.
What else could it be?
Grimos, you missed my very high edit late night video that I made to show the true ending of Alan Wake 2. But other than that, you're good. We should go rig an erection, huh?
Today's gonna be a long day.
Hey, it was your idea.
I thought it wasn't an idea anymore. I forgot about it. I have lots of ideas, and most of them are bad.
Dude suggested a Monday morning stream and then forgot.
I absolutely did.
Ding, 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 ding. I did a lot of merchanting to get 100,000 guineas. Ghoul Watch. Shoot, I forgot. What did the guy from Ghoul Watch want? Thrilling memories or something like that. Oh well, I'll figure it out. I think it's something to do with memory boxes, so I will grab some memory boxes. I have a memory box.
Yay!
So fellas, do you remember like, oh my god, 15 years ago when we had Bradley and we had that bet that I couldn't show him anything beautiful in the house, and I lost the bet badly, and then I reunited him with his daughter, and by now there's probably the pitter-patter of little grandchildren poet nights going around Fargyle Keep.
Sure, but people are kind of immortal down here, so it's not a big issue.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's on the ship for 1 second, and he decides to be a fucking racist. Chris.
That's it, Canute. I'm a tolerant man, but it's my duty to maintain standards, and that goat thing is nothing but a danger. It cannot remain in the crew.
You're a guest. You are a guest that is here for a day.
Boy.
Cromlech is a person, Bradley, and is welcome in the crew as anyone except you.
Well, I think it's disgusting that we'll be letting it walk around like it's one of us. Why don't you talk to it? Because if you don't, I will, boy.
Yeah, you go do that.
Fine, I'll go speak with it myself. I don't want to hurt it. Just make it go away and stop mingling with us civilized folk.
Yeah,
boy.
go bother my boyfriend.
Bradley burst into Cromlech's quarters. Without knocking, the room is meticulously tidy. And he sits straight backed at his desk, peering over his reading glasses at a solemn old tome, pipe clenched in his mouth. Lying on his bed is a ratty old blanket that has clearly been thoroughly nibbled. How may I help you? Goatman, the captain and I had headed up to here with you. Here is apparently at shoulder level. Walking around, tapping that obnoxious cane, nibbling. I've seen you nibbling at the furnishings, and sir, I won't stand for it. It is a bad habit I am striving to break. We'll go back to your little village and nibble things there. We're sick of you. Don't you think of this too, Noot?
Yeah, sure.
You place your friendly arm around Bradley's shoulders and nod to Cromlech, who stands to accompany you. Insistently, you move him out of Cromlech's personal space and take a 3-person walk down a corridor. You chat to Bradley about his past experiences with Goatman, and you chat with Cromlech about his personal experiences facing human bigotry. Bradley starts shouting, which is the default response to most things that confuse or frighten or inconvenience him, but you talk with him over such quiet authority that he shuts up. Finally, you sit with the two of them and ask Bradley to shake Cromlech's hand. He does so, although with obvious reluctance. Bradley is still willing to accept Cromlech as part of the crew on your insistence, but he'll never accept him as a person. Perhaps this is the best you can hope for, boy.
Can we pretend that this happened 13 years ago and he's a better person now?
Bradley seems happier now.
Please.
Boy.
Please. So, after him being racist 13 years ago,
leave him to his... kick him off the ship.
So, all of a sudden, 13 years later,
He opens the door. When you open the door to your quarters, a canvas bag tips over and spills coins across the floor. A note has been left stuffed amongst the coins. You won.
That's right. I showed him the one beautiful thing in his in the house, his daughter.
No. It was Cromlech.
Oh, it was Cromlech? Okay.
Yeah, it was Cromlech. It took 13 years, but it was Cromlech.
Alright, Dr. Mobius Vance is wasting my 500 guinea bottle darkness.
It's the first time you've seen him with his big plague mask off. He had to remove it in order to press his eye to the microscope.
That's true, by the way. You gotta get in there good and... If you want to use an old-timey microscope.
And neat black hair. Hey, my microscope is like that.
My microscope, if you look over it, you can see, you can basically see through anything through the lens, like at almost any angle.
But as you open the door, he shrieks and scrabbles back for the mask. Back.
Walk right in. Hang back.
Dr. Vance scrabbles, flustered at the innumerable leather straps on his mask.
Hot.
Thought the door was locked. He gasps and sighs with relief as the last strap cinches into place. You shouldn't have come near me when the mask is off. You have the plague, just like everyone else. Don't risk infecting the one clean person you've met.
Hot.
He takes a deep, calming breath. Still, I am glad to see you. I was just about to find you and discuss a theory of mine. I have been examining this sample you procured for me. It has proven highly useful.
I'd consider going faster. This guy is a bit of a rambler. And yeah, I totally got this sample for you.
I have been combating the plague for many years, says Dr. Vance, and I have always suspected that it harbored a malign intelligence, a concordance of will, beyond blind and brutish pathology. But until studying this, I had never considered actually communicating with the plague. I had thought to do so would invite disaster. But the darkness of the house, like the plague, is a dispersed sentient entity, and I have been able to force it to manifest its will, even speak with it. His voice is self-consciously dramatic. Behind the glass panes of his eyes, he waits for you to be impressed.
Oh, I am so impressed.
The darkness is able to speak, it just requires a mouth. The doctor vanished. I constructed a paper doll and imbued it with occult ritual. As it died, it spoke, offering me various temptations in exchange for release. I did not acquiesce. He gestures to the black pill bottle. There are other quasi-sentient diseases besides the plague, continues the doctor. I would like to collect samples of them, perfect my technique of speaking with sickness. Then we can attempt to engage the plague itself and see what it truly desires.
Yeah, let's bring a bunch of plagues or disease samples onto my kinetipede.
Ragskin, Mummy's Frenzy, and Tooth Retreat, says Dr. Vanch, all highly virulent and vaguely sapient. The slums of the City of Knives, of course, teem with Ragskin. I believe there is a frenzy of epidemic far south in flooded Macara. And Tooth Retreat is a common complaint across the house, but it was first discovered in the Principate town of Gandola.
I hate the concept of Tooth Retreat.
Sounds like a Space Station 14 antagonist.
We shall leave immediately.
Dr. Vanch clasps his gloved hands. Excellent. You will not regret your trust in me, Knut. Together we will rescue humanity from its invisible scourge.
He gently ushers me from his lab, muttering that he needs to continue his experiments.
Yeah, I know there actually was a disease antagonist in Space Station 13. I never got to play it, though.
Alright, let's train Fiona in poetry.
Ooh. You bring several long-form poems you had her write as homework, and they're actually palatable. You go through their strengths and flaws and help her edit to remove the latter.
For the next few days, she's especially upbeat. I need more poetry. I also need to get Bradley off my fucking ship. Ah, much better. You know you're bad when Harmony Ricketts is more tolerable than you.
Is the delicious meat made from goat?
I can assure you it's not made from goat person.
Because I've had goat once in real life. It was okay.
We're gonna go cavort with some crows and rig an election. I don't know what you thought I said last time, but I definitely said election. And how thoughtful was it of them to postpone the election for 7 years?
I mean...
So that I could go explore.
I'm sure it's fine. There are only 3 polling months left.
Do you want to read? Because you're not going to be able to read the next one.
The minister's estate is vast and complex. You get lost in the process of trying to find some food. The ghouls seem to have forgotten to lay out anything that's edible for you, and spend a frustrating half-hour walking through twisted, opulent corridors. Finally, you come across a dapper ghoul, smoking in an alcove, a cigar smoke drifting through his open eye socket. Couldn't stand it back there either, he drawls. Don't blame you. The scarred minister's parties make me wish I'd properly died. Still, we should get back before they send a search party. He hands you a cigar, offers his arm. It might just be your imagination, but he seems very friendly. Introduces himself as Angleton, proves scintillating company, quick-witted, sly, playfully, very obvious in signaling his attentions. You return the favor back.
By the end of the evening, we fade to black.
Yeah.
And he makes me breakfast, but it's not as good as Cromlex. I suppose if I were playing this roleplay-wise, I shouldn't be doing these romantic events because I'm still want to be with Cromlex.
Yeah. Hey there, Altotas.
Hold up.
Ugh. I should not have done shoveling yesterday after showering. That was a mistake.
Isn't... Altos, we got a problem.
What did you break there, Noot?
I didn't break anything. Well, actually, I
That's
might
what
have
someone
showing
who-
off Bradley.
That's what someone who broke something might say. Dun, dun, dun.
Did it? I already took her to the... Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I already did Ghoul Watch, I think. Or has she already been to the Grotesquerie? I thought she already went...
I don't recall her going to the Grotesquerie and getting an animal part on her. I remember we wanted to do that.
Hang on. Maybe she went... Yeah, she might... Yeah, okay, I did that right. That's how I got the Undead Noggin, isn't it? You are absolutely right. Hang on, I'm grabbing a fan. It's kind of hot in here. It's getting hot in here, so grab a giant fan. The editor sent a message. They want an interview with an election candidate. Let's interview the Scarred Minister.
The Scarred Minister may have plunged in the polls, but his opinion still holds some weight among Ghoul Watch's undecided voters. He meets you in his stately manner, overlooking the gardens of the sublime, and pours you a tumbler of whiskey and rambles in his smooth baritone through a few well-worn anecdotes that were published in the broadsheets decades ago.
What do you think of Ghoul Watch feature holds?
He pauses, overlooking the gardens, his strangely etched face losing his false smile. The worst kinds of flowers have been blooming lately. Lilies, pale bluebells, lilac, and gray roses. Bad omens. Good years are coming to an end, and I fear what's next.
Let's not publish that one. Who do you think will be the best Prime Minister?
Well, I can't go showing favoritism, can I? He chuckles and scratches at his grooved chin.
But what if you did, though?
The application of fine cigars and well-placed flattery, you get to finally get him to speak his mind. In my view, it has to be the silent minister, he says bluntly. Dark times are coming, and she's the only one who's ever had any idea of what's going on. The rest of us are children compared to her. Don't publish that last bit.
What do you think of the Tourmaline minister?
A bad egg, says the minister bluntly. My voters have always known I don't lie down and let the living walk all over me, but I fear some of them have mistaken Perfidious for someone with a similar harsh but fair approach. But he's not. He's a dangerous extremist. The Tourmaline minister will be bad for the Ghoul Watch, and bad for ghouls. There it is, the perfectly quotable soundbite that now the Scarred Minister saw the Scarred Minister elected 7 times in a row.
What about the Gallows Minister, my boy?
He's not a great orator, but full of notch, has a good head on his shoulders, says the minister. I would trust him to run the city like clockwork.
I guess that's the endorsement I need.
He stands silhouetted at his door, brandy in hand, watches you leave. It's only as you turn the corner that you realize you never actually saw him take a drink. Build the article around that quote and send it off to your editor for publication. Next day, it's out and you see your papers being sold and swapped and read all over the watch. This is sure to make a splash. Still, you spend a few days before the next polls come in. What will your next moves be?
Let's campaign in the dungeon slums.
Down here, the streets are swamped in cold water and sewage. The poor live, tend to a cell. Some ghouls pick through the refuse for coins, others lurk in the darkness with knives. No one knows how deep the dungeons go, or how many ghouls wait down here, in the dark, but election season and they suddenly matter. How will you campaign on behalf of the minister?
It sounds like they could just straight up use some money just on principle.
You press coins into gubby palms and extract whispered promises.
Wait for the poll results to come in. Oh yeah! Things are going
Mildly
well.
in the Gallows' minister's favor.
Yep, Gallo Minister is way ahead of everybody else. Tourmaline Minister and Silent Minister are the ones we have to look out for. Also, hi Silent Minister.
Mm-hmm.
North. We're gonna go cavort with the Lord of Crows, huh?
The Crow Minister?
No, the Lord of Crows.
Mm.
Worship the Dread Machine. I'll let you guys read that next time. That was Force of Habit.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll pay 80 guineas. Rude.
Do your fighting?
They call me Old Bombastic. That didn't work very well for them, did it?
Mm-mm.
Yay, free stuff, huh?
Is it stuff made out of freedom?
I don't know.
Because if it's not made out of freedom, how could it be free?
You clamber over the wet, slick rocks at the outskirts of the falls. Together with your crew, you take time to sit and picnic and watch the roaring torrent. Closer to the column of the seething white water is a landscape of spikes and outcrops. Tunnels and twisting paths, all obscured by a blanket of fog. You can get lost for days if you aren't careful. Attempt to climb closer to the falls. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, I'll just walk back over there. Fog clings to you like cobweb. You clamber closer to the falls, carefully stepping over patches of slick algae and ducking the occasional low-hanging outcrop. As you get closer, you see something, a cavern hidden behind the roaring sheets of water. You climb inside, the spray of the falls soaking you right down to the bone. Shivering violently, you walk down a long tunnel, your feet sloshing through cold black puddles. You hear a horse singing up ahead. Finally, you stumble into a little rocky grotto, as a skinny, bearded old fellow sits half-nakedly by a roaring campfire, playing a pair of bongos, singing badly, and a dozen ghosts surround him. Is it your imagination, or are they also whispering along to the music?
Sure, I could go for a jam.
You sing and sing together, you and the hermit and the ghosts. Your voice is just barely audible over the roaring waterfall. When the song is finished, the ghosts drift away. The hermit packs up his bongos and starts to lay down some bedding for the night.
The hermit smiles at you uncomprehendingly when you try to speak with him. I should go steal that carnivore heart, huh?
I mean, I don't see how that could possibly go wrong.
Fastest engine in the game.
Yoo-hoo.
And you can feed it meat.
Hacking? Are
What?
you still speed hacking?
Of course.
Okay.
But that matters for combat because it means I can close the distance to board in one move, huh? Instead of two. Ew, meandering feces.
Merandering feetsies? Are the feetsies merandering?
Something like that.
Feetsies! Oh.
Feathers ripple like a black ocean. A clump of crows detach from the fused totem, descend on your offering, and then return to the central seething mass. That night you dream of a poker game with shadowy figures. 3 of the common suits are replaced by skulls, clown faces, and clocks, although the hearts remain. The game changes. You roll a 6-sided dice that comes up a 7. A spider with 9 legs crawls across the ceiling, and you wake up soaked in sweat. A few scraps of skin, a chunk of fly-blown meat, a hoof. The crows aren't picky. They descend on it and devour it all. One of them detaches, flies to your shoulder, and whispers a riddle in the voice of a young boy. For the next few weeks, your mind will dwell on the riddle at inconvenient moments. The stench of formaldehyde fills the air as the crows descend and rip the corpse to pieces. They deliver an ear-shattering caw. They're still hungry, always still hungry. Images embed in your mind. The corpses of all your crew hanging upside down from a tree. Is this supposed to be a reward or a rebuke? You taste rot at the back of your throat. The meat is raw and red and dripping. The crows direct all their unfathomable hunger on it, and it's gone in a blink. A million beaks scream in ecstasy. Your eardrums are bleeding, but you don't notice. You see a man who shatters like a mirror, and in your mind's eye, the shards of him cut you like ribbons. Pain utterly consumes you. You wake up back at the Kinetipede, unharmed but shaken.
Yay! I like being unharmed.
Do you want to read giving them the God corpse?
Sure. An ocean of crows rises. The mile-high sheet of darkness descends on the god's corpse with a screaming caw of triumph and hunger that will leave you deaf and stricken by migraines for a week. Upon image upon image passes through your mind, so flickering so fast you can't understand them. A weeping boy clutching a red-nosed doll, golden leaves, an ink-black heart, thudding ancient blood crumbling through stone. The crows are feasting upon the god corpse. The sound of it is disgusting, wet, but the smell, somehow, delicious. You have an impish desire to join them at their banquet.
How often does one receive an invitation to join a lord at dinner?
You find yourself living two realities at once. In the far clearer of the two, you sit at the head of a feast, drinking the most delicious wine and gorging on the tenderest red meat. It is so maddeningly good, satisfaction unparalleled. But in some screaming corner of your brain, you know what is really happening. You are hunked down amid a million square, squawking crows, stuffing rotten god meat into your mouth, soaked in blood and elbow deep in fly-blown entrails. A crow settles on your shoulder and nibbles at your ear, sweetly, affectionately. A thrill of pleasure rushes through to the tips of your fingers. You couldn't, or could
Wanna
you?
fuck? You spread
Fade
your
to
arms
black.
and a rush of flapping crows swell beneath you. A dark tide, you are lifted. Again and again, we fade to black. At long last, you are spent.
Mm-hmm.
And just a little bit insane, but it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go steal a carnivore heart.
Okay.
Yummy. It likes raw meat like me.
Does it like running into walls?
Yeah, I bet it does.
We have a cat in my house that runs into walls and stairs.
Does he act like he meant to do that?
No. When it tries to go up the stairs, it forgets to good jump.
Oh.
It's pretty dumb.
I'm gonna pet my crow. Bugger. Bum fluff.
It is one of the dumbest cats I have ever experienced.
Yay, I drove the sadness away.
It also has a propensity for clawing people up affectionately. And doesn't understand why people don't like to be affectionately clawed.
I know.
So I use a spray bottle on it.
Don't call your cat an it. It at least has a gender.
Baby? I don't know what it is. It's
Oh.
not my cat. I'm not a pet person.
Hey, let's steal the heart. Chris?
We have about 20 minutes before the pirate priests notice I'm missing, says 12, sliding in through the window of your Kinetipede. Hello, Lucetta, by the way. Long time no see. A nice hat. Howdy, 12, says Lucetta with an enormous grin. Good to see you, too. What's life like in the cathedral since I left? Oh, you know, says 12, the usual, but with less sparkle.
He pulls a blueprint of the cathedral from his slave rags. Time to plan.
The carnivore heart. stored in the cathedral's dungeons, says Lucetta. The divine wards are gone, thanks to your efforts, but there are still some protections we need to overcome. Dogs were deemed a pet, by the way. It's guarded by a golem built from the bones of saints, and one of us will have to destroy that thing. We also need to organize a slave uprising to keep the pirate priests fully distracted and to use up some of their wasted ammo. And finally, we need someone to actually smuggle the heart back to the Knetipede without alerting the guards. 12 starts to hum something under his breath, a tune you vaguely recognize.
Why are you humming the fifth ode to Bez Hesletheth?
I had the chance to memorize the fifth ode before I smuggled it to you, says 12. You return the relics of some unsanctioned gods back to the rightful owners. The least they could do is grant us favor in return, eh? We're gonna need it. He glances at you oddly. Didn't Lucetta tell you about this part of the plan? As he speaks, you feel something fluttering in your pocket. You pull out Librostus's black card, flapping back and forth as though a strongman. A good plan is only revealed at the last minute. Lucetta holds up her slim hand with the symbol of elegant burned into the palm. It's glowing gold. It's never wise to preemptively assume a god's favor. They are fickle beings. We can choose which of us gets which, says 12. How about you, Noot? Whose favor would you prefer? Thanks, Doc.
What was the one? What was the one that doesn't want to be there? I forget. I think it was the Elegant.
I do not recall.
Choose the favor of Elegant, the Lord of Merriment.
And then I shall take the favor of Librosturus, says Lucetta. Leaving me with the fifth ode, says 12. Excellent. The tune was already stuck in my head anyways. And who will be doing what?
I could try the Slave Rebellion, why not?
Lucetta rummages in her wardrobe, producing 3 chainmail robes. I've been working on these for a while, she says proudly. If we wear them and pull the hoods up, we should look like pirate priests. It might be enough to get us into the dungeons.
Sneak into the cathedral.
At the cathedral's doors? The 3 of you are stopped by a guard with a face like a tumorous tomato. He looks you up and down suspiciously. Oi, he says, I don't remember seeing any new tanks rolling. How do I know you're one of us?
Recite the names of the swollen pantheon. All of them. And pronounce them right.
By the 19th deity, he's clearly had enough. Go on through, he mutters, withdrawing. In the cathedral beyond, hundreds of icons dangle from the walls. Pirate priests fight and drink and roar with laughter. You make your way to one of the twisty, deserted side corridors and pull open a trapdoor. Good work, whispers Lucetta.
To the dungeon.
Beneath the halls of the cathedral? Aye. Between its vast tank treads are a maze of tiny torchlit catacombs that spool chaotically around a vast central atrium. Here, the ancient slaves toil. Skulls line the walls. Dry bat bones crunch underfoot. You, Lucetta, and 12 separate at the fork and the tunnel to each deal with your respective tasks. There is only time for a hurried, whispered goodbye. You hurry on alone, heart racing. You make your way to the pens where the slave engines lie sleeping in cold stone, still chained to their tools.
A rousing speech,
You wake the slaves and move between them, freeing them one by one. Your bellowed speech making the air electric. They cheer, lift your tools, and surge up to the cathedral above in a great mass of impassioned humanity. After that, it's only a matter of joining the chaos, cheering as the slaves tear apart their captors, helping them topple the statues of various gods. When you're sure the rebellion is approaching critical mass, you slip back into the Knetipede.
And we wait.
Lucetta stumbles into the Knetipede moments later, pale and shivering. It is quite a thing, isn't it? The favor of a god. I can still taste it at the back of my mouth. Joy and power and despair. She drags behind her the carnivore heart, pulsing, dripping, wheezing, a twisted hybrid of engine organ split amongst the middle by a drooling row of fangs. Studded with dripping arteries and severed copper pipes. We got here just in time, she says. It was almost fully grown. Faint screams from the Cathedral of Stolen Gods. Smoke churns from its steeple. One of the stained glass windows shatters as slaves hurl a fat pirate priest out far into the spikes below in an act of glorious defenestration. Where's 12? Says Lucetta finally.
A shout from the cathedral. A blimp-sized figure stands on one of the upper balconies, roaring for your attention. His voice bounces off the walls.
The Omnipede stands out on his balcony, Robes flapping, stained glass, spectacles glimmering. One huge hand is wrapped around the throat of a badly beaten figure you barely recognize as 12. Lucetta, Canute, his voice cracks like thunder. You have 5 minutes. Return the carnivore heart or I kill your accomplice. He dangles 12 over a massive drop like a toy. Lucetta laughs darkly, the laugh of someone staring into an abyss. We have to give it back. He says hollowly, 12 trusted us. We can't leave him to die.
But I want it. Let me see what my... Yeah, okay, I save. Let's see what happens. Refuse. We can't just abandon him, she says, her voice tinged with the quietest edge of anger. For 2 years, 12 was my only friend at this terrible place. I owe him. Still refuse.
When your time runs out...
Yeah, she is not happy with that. Hang on. I wonder if we can kill the Omnipope. Let's find out. Maybe if... I forget what he went... He went to deal with the golem, right? I think.
I think so, yep.
Let's see what happens if I deal with the golem. And actually, he's a slave. He should be doing the slave rebellion. Okay, so he needs Bezletheth, and she needs Elegan, I think. Which would leave me Lebrostius, wouldn't it?
I think so.
Fight the Relic Golem. Read the names, head to the dungeon, beneath the halls of the cathedral, beneath its vast name. Separate at the fork. At first, you take it for just another pile of bones until it stands up. The golem is a mad amalgamation of skulls and ribs and femurs piled together at random. Each piece of ivory carved with the name of the saint it was taken from. It shambles towards you, shrieking. Grab an ancient sword off the wall. Let's see if this thing knows how to die. The sword is heavy in your sweat-slicked palm. The golem charges down at you, down the tunnel at you, a shrieking, clattering ivory avalanche. You leap aside at the last minute, sweeping the blade under the thing's misshapen legs. It goes cartwheeling down the tunnel and explodes into fragments when it hit the wall. The impact made the sword shatter and damn near your arm, too. You toss the broken blade and slip back to the canopide. Let's see. Still refuse. Alright, hang on. Altatoss, you still in here? You make your way to the central atrium where the carnivore heart beats and growls. It hangs in the center of the hall, fed by 100 copper pipes, pulsating, dripping, wheezing, a twisted hybrid of engine and organ, split along the middle by a drooling row of fangs. It's the same size as you. How can you take this thing without being seen? By invoking the favor of Lebrostius. You invoke the favor of Lebrostius, the tailbinder, and stow away the carnivore heart in the folds of your billowing black cloak. You guide up to the cathedral below, your blunt bone jaws clacking. The pirate priests scurry before you like ants. You open your cloak and a legion of lost souls rush forth like a tide, whispering and wailing. The pirate priests curl up on the floor. Gibbering and scratching their faces. You drift over them in a god dream, assaulted by visions of writhing tentacles and unlit depths. When you snap out of it, you find yourself back at the canopide.
So give it back.
I am gonna give it back, but hang on.
I was not giving it back.
Nope, I'm going to if I don't get it, if I don't get the fucking thing, yeah, she does not want me to. Okay, you know what? It's not the right thing.
Maybe you'll have another chance to steal it later.
I'm gonna see what happens if I give it back.
You make the exchange.
Okay. You want to take 5, and I will grab gunpowder.
Sure.
Alright, let's take 5. Sorry, I smoke a lot in the morning when I just woke up. Sorry, folks.
Oh, good. Be right back.
But yeah, we're gonna rig this thing to explode. If I'm giving this thing back, they're getting it back one piece at a time, Alright.
I thought you said we were taking 5.
We did take 5, didn't we?
It was not 5.
Oh, hush.
It's just 5 now. It's hard for me to do a shower in 5 minutes, okay?
You were gonna shower,
I did shower.
Oh. Well, I was only just back.
Exactly, you didn't give me a full 5 minutes.
You could have kept going while I was traveling.
I didn't know what you were doing. I don't have a shower in my room. I wouldn't want a shower in my room.
Well, I don't got gunpowder. I gotta go get gunpowder.
Yep.
Gunpowder gotta go get.
Yeah. Now to
Ruins.
start packing. What's in this bag? This bag. God, I need this thing.
Flee. Gather news very slowly.
Is it the frozen mushroom town?
Yep.
I can't imagine frozen mushrooms are too palatable, even their brain stems.
It's fine.
They probably turn mushy.
Just smoke it in a hookah bong. I went. Oh my god! I went insane from gathering news from those slow bastards. Huh?
Well done.
Why did I go up? That is not the direction I need to go.
Well, it's because you're finally learning that the only direction you need to go when you don't know which way to go is north.
Pan a check. No, you can't have any of my fuel. I need every last drop. Huh? You know, why am I doing this?
I don't know why you're doing this.
What the fuck?
Why do you do this? Why you do?
Well, Vernon wanted to fuck. He was
Just say no.
He
You
was
don't need to consent.
DTF.
You don't need to consent.
Already approaching. Oh, there we go. Money won't be enough to bridle my temptations. What if I have the urge to turn you into a tablecloth? If you demand discipline, I will only work for secrets. Whispering I can make use of. Secrets? I can offer him secrets, Chris.
I'm sure you can.
Are you in a bad position to read?
I can start reading. The humorist makes you write the secrets in white ink on red paper and slips it into his sleeve. Now, I'll make all your dreams come true, he says, producing a thin silver scalpel. He lashes out and nicks Harmony's cheeks, leaves a red line, follow me. He shoves open the door to the grotesquerie proper. Harmony trots behind the humorist as he strikes down the corridor, footsteps echoing. He glances back at you once. For the first time you see fear on her face.
Follow.
The corridor ends in a pair of double doors. Past them, a warehouse-sized laboratory. You think you can hear, very far away, the plaintive tones of Harmony's voice, calling for help. You pass a colossal vat with something hanging from the inside. Glass tubes containing a bloated tangle of things. A man held down by humorists, cutting at his face with small, neat scissors. As you pass them, their pale clown faces look up and stare at you in silent, smiling unison. The scissors go clip, clip, clip across the man's forehead. By the time you're out of their sight, you realize Harmony's cries have stopped.
I can indeed remember where they were coming from.
You head deeper in. Are the lights getting dimmer, or is that your imagination? You pass a decapitated pig's head, squealing, stuck with pins. A heap of formless, tumorous flesh, breathing and whispering. The second door on the left, it burbles to you, save her. Through there, finally, you find Harmony, chained to a table by her hands and feet. She's split open from neck to navel, surrounded by 6 identical clown-faced humorists with bone saws and scalpels and little sharp needles. She has a memory box attached to her head and she's shrieking, her good eye rolling.
What's going on?
She's a promising candidate, says one of the humorists calmly. She understands our ambitions. Beauty in abomination, perfection in perversion. We are educating her. We keep the memories of those we change most hideously, says another humorist in the same agreeable tone. Their pain, terror, dread, and despair. We are feeding these memories to her, drip through drip. 1,000 days twisting under the knife. She will either become like us or break entirely.
But you'll send her mad.
That's the general idea, says one of the humorists, flashing yellow teeth between cracked white lips. He points his scalpel at a ragged poster on the wall. You don't have to be mad to work here, it says, assures above a picture of a distressed kitten. But it helps.
Oh my god, they have the fucking motivational poster.
Dearest Harmony will do well here, says another of them. We must first tattoo her face white, of course, and teach her obedience.
Allow them to carry on.
You sit and watch as they tear her apart and build her anew. All the while she cries, begs, more and more memories of horror swirling into her head. By the time they put her back together, she is laughing. She has it, the humorists say. She has the joy. By the time the operation is finished, it is morning. There should have been a U in that word. Harmony sits up on the bed, her lips stripped away to reveal a maddened grin, the fingers of her left hand ending in gnashing mouths. Last night they showed me, she says, looking around her in wonder. All my art is small and meaningless. What they are attempting here, it is a vision grander than any I could but conceive. I will stay here, she informs you, a tiny giggle burbling up between her teeth. I will stay here and learn. A humorist is already behind her, laying a white coat over her shoulders. Another has raised a tattooed needle to her face, running it across her cheek, smearing whiteness into her skin. She stares at you with white, mad eyes and a white, mad grin, and she giggles again and giggles until the sound is like nails on a chalkboard. Leave. One of the other humorists orders you, twirling a scalpel. Thank you for bringing her to us, but she doesn't need you in any more.
Oops. It's fine. Everything's fine. Wrench the memory box from her head.
You pull the memory box and back away, holding it under one arm. Harmony sobs with relief. Our gifts are never appreciated, says one of the humorists, and the rest laugh. They go back to work, leaving you as you watch them tear and prod at Harmony's shaking body.
They can keep going with the surgery. That's what she wanted. It's not...
You sit and watch as they tear her apart, build her anew. Without the memory box in her head, the laudanum can take effect, and she mostly lies still. By the time the operation is finished, it is morning. Harmony's lips are gone, forcing her into a huge and permanent grin. The fingers on her left hand are tiny, gnashing mouths. She sits up, pale and drawn. Come on, she says to you, standing and staggering. We need to get out of here. The humorists chatter and laugh behind you, bidding you adieu. Come back any time, Harmony, says one of them, ink-eye fellows who first met you in the atrium. You are always welcome.
Yay.
Thank you, says Harmony, sinks into your bed. I shouldn't be waking so soon after surgery. I just had to get out of there. She heaves a great sob of relief. At any rate, I have completed my vision. We must return to the City of Masks so I can debut my latest piece to the world.
Debut! At night you hear her screaming in her sleep. It's fine, though. Everything is fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna go introduce my boyfriend to his old family.
Mm-hmm.
Now. Damn it. Fine. Alright, before I come here in peace, I am going to steal one of their giant rocks.
Okie dokie.
You want to read, Chris?
Sure. This time, the meeting goes much more smoothly. Cromlech leaves you behind. Your presence, he says, would only aggravate them. When he returns, he is smiling. The Goatmen have agreed to let me become their ambassador in the City of Keys. He says, can you take me there? I will need your help when it comes to persuading the bureaucrats.
He sweeps past you, but pauses to offer a pained smile. Toxin shark.
Yep.
And also that one disease we need to pick up.
How do the spinning stones have crew members?
I guess they hang on to it. I don't know.
That's gotta suck.
They're goat people. It's part of their culture.
Upside, instead of stealing standing stones from their town, you can take them on the road.
True.
Eh?
That actually is one of the rewards for defeating them in combat. Ew, we're in the cities. The featureless monolith in your engine room has been stirring. The ice on its side has shivered and cracked. Snakes of frost begin to wind through your kinetipede, burrowing under doors and covering the walls like ivy or glittering veins. Your breath comes in gasps of smoke. Your engineers have always professed discomfort in the engine's presence, but now they tell you it has been demanding tribute. Worship, Your engineers light candles and mutter half-embarrassed, half-fearful prayers. The cold abates. From that point on, Concord Eldritch seems troubled. He continues to worship at the cold altar of the engine, and does so with increasing fervor. At one point, you're forced to confiscate a scale model of the engine from his quarters, apparently built at the center of some sort of shrine. He has even scrawled a dense holy book come instruction manual. Signs of the engine cult die down, although you still discover the occasional candle stub in the engine room. Yay, free
The
book.
cult of the engine. It was a triumph.
I'm writing a note here. Here's success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction.
Wrong sort of machine cult, I think.
Let's catch a toxin shark.
A shirt of toxins?
Yeah.
Neat. Your hired boat cuts through the poison green water. Otto's every lumbering movement makes the vessel rock and shudder. Toxin sharks can survive out of poison almost for a day, he says. If we catch one, we can haul it back to the kinetipede and put it in its vat. Of course, catching it is the tricky part. Knife-nosed silhouettes circle below. They are gathering.
Yay!
Itsumu has asked you to pet a door.
Pet the door.
I have pet my house door.
Do not touch the water. A splash on the skin could leave you hospitalized for days.
The bait hits the toxic water with a hiss and a splash, billowing red and black clouds beneath the surface, clumps of clotted meat, pulling away, slipping down the current. Sharks congregate, a churning cluster of hideous teeth. Otto grabs the chain and begins hauling, but even his enormous muscles are shaking under the strain. The river is a thrashing cauldron of blood.
Heave! Ho!
You grab the chain, and the two of you are able to heave not one or two, but 3 thrashing toxin sharks from the river. They unfurl on the deck with helpless enormity. It is rare to see a toxin shark removed from the scenic. They are truly ugly things. Mottled mint green skin covered in bedraggled seaweed-like fronds, bewildering array of teeth. Their eyes are bright and yellow like a goat's. Don't touch, warns Otto, handing you a pair of thick leather gloves. Brush bare skin against them and you'll be pumped with enough poison to kill the entire city.
Inspect your catch. A passing shark is cheering our success.
The 2 sharks roll aggravated eyes at you. Apparently you can make a toxin shark safe to eat if you cook it just right, says Otto. Difficult, though.
If there's one person on Earth that can do it, it's Otto.
Well, good thing we're not on Earth. The evening, Otto brings out a tray of green marinated shark steaks, served with garlic and cranberry and explosions of cabbage. Your crew feast and laugh and long into the night. Even 3/4 of them even wake up the next day. Otto sits in the corner for the entire time, sweating and staring at the ceiling. I was very worried I had underestimated my culinary skill, he tells you the next day. But nobody died. In fact, your crew are talking eagerly about the banquet for weeks after. Those that did not wake up, however, were henceforth renamed Nobody.
It's fine.
Because only nobody died.
Oh, brilliant.
It keeps the casualty rates low. You can just say, oh, yeah, nobody died. No big deal.
Alright, let's get samples of rag skin, Chris.
Okie dokie. You find ragskin sufferers only in the poorest districts. Slaughterers war for Grendelside, where the air is thick with self-conscious despair. They gather under bridges and on the riverbanks, hollow-eyed starvelings whose skin hangs off their bones like tattered cloaks. They flutter in all directions as you approach, their footsteps light as air, and watch you from the darkest corners. Please step forward and do not be alarmed, says Dr. Vanch, striking a pose. I am a doctor, and I'm here to save the world. He is met with stillness and silence.
So why do they gather near rivers?
It is a symptom of the condition, says Dr. Vanch. The taxidermalians are drawn towards the hazards, high places, dark places, dangerous aloes, poison. Sometimes they are drawn toward places that aren't hazardous now, but will be in the future. It's not just an illness, you see, but an omen.
Let's call them the taxidermalians.
You talk in a kind, patient voice. Oops, I lost something. And the tatterdemons creep closer. Their threadbare swashes of flesh tremble like moths' wings. How can you help us? Croaks the nearest. The sound of language is startling. The dying men and women are so reduced that it had been difficult to think of them in human terms. You can't help them, you reply, but you need a scrap of their skin, preferably. Or something else infected. It can't help them, but it will help others. The nearest taxidermalion, the one who's spoken, tears away a strip of dangling flesh. Not like it's any hardship, she mutters. We have too much of the stuff. Her face is a fountain of ribbons.
Here, have something to numb the pain.
You hand the laudament to the nearest taxiderman, who accepts it with a vague gratitude. She flits uncomfortably close to you and whispers in your ear about disasters that wait in the city's future.
Oh. The sample will be magnificently useful, pronounces Dr. Vanch. I'm grateful for your help thus far. I'm a hero. Alright, who wants to break into a prison to see what atrocities they're doing? I know you do, Chris.
Always.
Worship it.
Are you worshipping it?
Again.
Why do you worship it?
Because it gets angry if you don't.
Fair.
We can give it what it wants or it'll take it.
Ah.
Alright, infiltrate Kennedy Yard. We'll be making journalistic history if we're ever heard from again.
Will we be heard from again?
Let's find out.
Okay. Kennedy Yard is a fortress guarded by governor's men. Face-changing, memory-stealing, occult-powered, highly trained. As you know, no one has ever successfully sneaked inside, which doesn't necessarily mean it hasn't happened, just that if it did, the governor's men did an excellent job of covering it up. You spent several days preparing. Once you're sure you're ready, you approach the first checkpoint. How do you get through?
Demonstrate, no. I should have had Bishop. Oh well. Demonstrate knowledge of highly classified information.
The first checkpoint looks like I could hold up an army. Sandbags, barbed wire, mounted guns of all shapes and sizes. A narrow-eyed governor's man wanders from his small glass booth and demands to see your paperwork. You casually mention in a detail of their operations that only a governor's man could know. They glance at you, shrug, hand you back your paperwork without finishing their perusal. You cross the blasted, crater-ridden wasteland to the next checkpoint, trudging between two razor-wire fences. Guards on either side shine their light down on you. Crouching shapes with glittering glass eyes turn their heads to watch you.
I don't have any redacted memories. That sucks. Supremely confident manner.
As you reach the second checkpoint, the ground rumbles and descends, dropping you into a cluster of intricate machinery. Mechanical arms lift you, weigh you, scan your eyes, and take a swab inside your mouth. The waiting governor man injects you with an ink-filled needle, and words crawl across your skin. She reads them with interest. Even here, confidence will get you everywhere. You demand to be let through, insisting that they must know who you are. The governor's man sighs and waves you through. You cross the blasted, crater-riddled wasteland to the next checkpoint, dredging between two razor-wire fences. Guards on either side shine their lights on you. Crouching shapes with glittering glass eyes still stand and look at you.
Knowledge of procedure.
At the third and final checkpoint, you are locked inside a windowless chamber. Even the door seems to vanish once it is closed behind you, and the walls, ceilings, and floors are all just mirrors. Nozzles appear in the room's corridor and spray you with stinging chemicals while a buzzing voice asks you a question through some hidden speaker. You answer every question in thorough detail, throwing in various code words and slang that the governor's men only use amongst themselves. A door appears. It is open. You cross the wasteland to the last check. Wait,
Yep.
This is the last checkpoint.
Lies and disguise.
Every question is met with a comprehensive answer. Your forged paperwork is immaculate, your disguise undiscovered. The governor's men waves you through with barely a nod.
And then we do the thingy again, and we're through.
Once you're inside, you're almost given free reign of the yard. Searchlights.
You sweep through the crater potted thing between two razor wire fences. Sorry. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah. Sirens blare every few minutes. Beneath your feet are miles and miles of tunnels, each lined with cells, holding another visitant. Somewhere below that, secret.
Down into the depth.
You head down into the tunnels, walk past cell after cell. The higher floors are exclusively human prisoners, gaunt and shaven, begging you as you walk past the news of what's going to happen to them. You stop and speak for a few about their old worlds, whether their homeland was concrete and polluted or verdant and paradisical. They talk about it with the same feverish light in their eyes, a light that is quickly extinguished when they remember their reality. Further down, you find the cells where non-humans are kept. The creatures get stranger and stranger the deeper you go, and their language is unintelligible. You push on. The grimy cells give way to clean, white corridors devoid of life. How deep are you now? A mile? 2? Before you can consider this further, you hear voices coming towards you.
Hide in a side room. The door is... I feel like that's kind of obvious, but okay.
It's descent day today, says a voice at your shoulder. A middle-aged woman with a harshly angular face. She is wearing a dark blue military jacket, golden epaulettes on each shoulder, and her eyes are cold and blue and crushingly hollow. How do you think it will go?
Badly. I think there's going to be an infiltration today.
I am inclined to agree, she says. You watch as a figure in a red boiler suit approaches the staircase, moving with the slow, exaggerated gait of someone in deep water. They are attached to a length of steel cable, unrolling steadily from a winch behind them. The cable continues to unroll as they approach the staircase and walk down into the dark, step by step. I know you're not supposed to be here, Canute, says the woman next to you, and I assure you I will be reviewing the flaws in our security that you exploited. But don't worry, I won't tell anyone you're here. I'll even allow you to ask a question, just one.
I know who this is. Are you okay if I say who this is and ask a different question?
Go for it.
It's the governor.
Mm-hmm.
The governor herself. And what's down that stairs?
The house has multiple floors, she says, but this is the only staircase we've found. You watch together as the cable unwinds, then it shakes violently, and the tiny figures below wave to each other in panic. The orange light turns red, the winch retracts the cable, but when the other end finally reappears, the thing that is attached is no longer human. It writhes and expels a fountain of bile before it expires. Another failed descent, says the woman next to you. She's already turning and walking away. Do you see why this house needs a strong hand at the tiller? Whatever is down there is cruel and powerful, and it wants to come up.
Alone again. You snap a few daguerreotypes, and how do you snap that? How do you snap daguerreotypes subtly? You need like a big plate of silver to do that. Time to pass through all those checkpoints again.
Yep.
Now let's save. Let's see the answers to the other questions. Why not, right? Just gotta remember 9, 10. So you can't make it in here without an extra thing. You can't do it with just checks, huh? Badly. You know who I am.
Yep. That's all she says.
Yep.
What happens if you meet them in the hallway and say it's going well?
I'm gonna try that. Why not? We're fast boys, aren't we?
Yep.
Two women turn the corner, one younger with a pistol at her belt, the other is slightly older wearing a dark blue military jacket. The older woman looks you up and down. Leave us, Anthemenian. The other woman snaps a salute and marches away. Have you come to watch today's descent? I think it'll go well. I'm inclined to agree.
Who is that going down the stairs?
The visitants are a renewable resource, she says. We make them believe they're taking part in our experiments out of their own free choice. It doesn't look like it matters, does it?
Nope.
But either way, I know the truth is I know who she is, and I want to know what's down there. So that feels like the right one, don't it? I think it's gonna go badly. The house has multiple floors, but this is the only staircase we've found. I can't believe the governor's letting me just post this fucking story.
You know, if you've only found one
shouldn't she have
staircase,
just capped me in the fucking head, honestly?
yeah. If it's only one store, if you only found one staircase down, how do you know you just haven't found a mimic?
You don't,
Exactly.
But it's,
But
it's the best they got. Do you have a better idea?
I could say it's a weird creature that is only here.
So Raphael.
Because they haven't found it anywhere else.
There is no complete your assignment because I have to talk to her incognito. The Funghetto spread slowly over the years, inviting unflattering comparisons to rot from Civian purity fanatics. Bulging columns and protuberances of moist vegetable matter colonized entire streets. The largest such communities in the city are Sootcup and Dungbird's Nest, but you've ended up wandering into Fleasier. Humans rarely come here. Much is made of the stench, but it's not especially unpleasant compared to the fug of dung and smoke which hangs over the rest of the city. Fleasier smells of damp soil and old fruit. Mycenae have gathered in bewildering numbers. It's clearly one of the Mycenae's moral moots. One of the elders must have had a disagreement. The entire community will have been invited to watch and participate in the debate. Blank, clinging to every available surface on their haphazard fungal structures. At the center of the throng, two Mycenae stand on a raised dais.
Just a minor bug.
Yep, you want to take note of that, Altitas? Observe the crowd. Something isn't quite right here, Chris. You read.
The elders' debate sounds innocuous enough to you, but the crowds tell a different story. Alien though they are, the Mycenae exhibit certain tells that are very human. Their silence is not just respectful, but tense. Certain Mycenae slip through the crowd with an air of higher purpose, trailing clouds of spores in their wake. Agitators, perhaps? The surface debate is genuine, you suspect, a legitimate point of nuisance, debated in its own right, but the Mycenae are using it to conceal a second debate, coated in spores. Something they don't want any humans to hear or understand.
You're suddenly ill at ease. This might not be a safe place for you. Chris, you describe it.
When it described getting into this area, like about this emotional mood with the elders, it was just missing one of the adjectives. It tried to describe something.
All we saw was a comma at the start of the paragraph.
Yeah.
I love balls. When they're held for when they're held for pleasure, they're the ones I like the best.
Okay.
I think that's an AC/DC song or something.
I don't know. I missed out on that generation of music, sadly.
How do I have 0 unique experiences? I fucked a million crows, You add an entirely new subplot. This will change everything. Time for a rewrite.
Always is.
Chris, let's invite Spire over.
The glow of his eye casts your living room in an odd, violent hues. I get these awful headaches, he groans after an hour of stilted conversation. I'm sorry. I need to go home.
Let him go. It's early, but he looks uncomfortable. Nah, how did you get that eye in your head in the first place?
Spire fidgets anxiously. I barely understand myself, he admits. Back before the eye, I like to think daguerreotypes of architecture.
One day I took a picture of some purple eye graffiti I found, painted on the wall in the City of Masks. Next day I woke up with this. He points at his head, goes to fetch his coat. Now really, I need to go. My head is going to explode.
He clutches his head as he runs down the street. Altitas, if it helps, the event occurred on the stream between 1 hour and 50 minutes and 1 hour 55 minutes. So that should help you narrow it down a bit. If you want to do it from the VOD. Let's bring the evidence to ambiguity, Vilecroft.
The evidence?
Yeah. We took pictures, remember?
Yeah, I know.
Do you want me to read this one?
If you could. I'm dealing with some wires right now.
No problem. A floor below, breathes ambiguity, flicking through your article and the accompanying daguerreotypes. Incredible. This shatters, well, every perception we have about the house and how it works. And forcing visitants to go down and explore it? People need to know. We're gonna have to bypass the censors on this one. Ambiguity stands up, grabs your papers, marches out of the door. We're gonna publish this right now. The mid-afternoon edition of the Key Details starts hitting the streets just a few hours later. Ambiguity expects mass outrage, riots in the streets, and there's certainly something in the air, a quiet buzz, an unhappy tension, but it fizzles out quickly enough. The Key Details sells triple its usual total, which is slightly less than the Hollow Trumpet. By the next day, the Septuagintian Times has published a think piece titled, "Why the Governor Was Right Not to Tell Us About the Floor Below." The Hollow Trumpet castigates ambiguity personally for revealing a state secret, and Sylvester, ambiguity's deputy minister, comes bursting into the office in a white-faced panic. Apparently he saw one of his colleagues being bundled into an alleyway by dark-suited men, and he was followed out of the office. Ambiguity stands up, shrugging into a coat. "Well, that's that then," he or she says, with a disappointed smile. "They'll be coming for me next, Canute. Could you do me the kindness of taking me to the old hollow? I fear it's the only place I'll be safe." Sylvester locks and bolts the door as you leave. Everything's fine, though.
Yep. Sounds fine to me.
Cromlech, come register as the first ambassador of the Goat People. The court of the City of Keys is a knot of stately architecture clustered around a magnificent marble fountain. Everyone from the lowest commoner to the highest noble actually knows the court by its nickname, the Fountain of Bastards. A diplomat? From the Goatstones? The bureaucrat looks at you and Cromlech and back again, then bursts into laughter. The city has no need to improve its relations with savages. Yeah, except I'm an important person, so do it. The bureaucrat adjusts his spectacles. "Ah, Canute, I didn't recognize you. And you're officially sanctioning this?" He pauses. "I'm afraid there's a monetary charge for setting up an embassy in the city. You need to rent premises, you see. I'm willing to ratify the paperwork, but we need the payment in advance." "How much?" asks Cromlech. "A mere 2,000 guineas, the bureaucrat beams. Bankroll an embassy for the Goatmen.
Yeah.
Sanction this splayed hand eggplant.
I wanted there to be, like, he recognizes you from somewhere. He looks over his shoulder. He sees the wanted poster for destroying the
Tyrannic.
Yeah. Like, I didn't recognize you. I still don't recognize you.
Splayed egg ham plamp. The bureaucrat pulls Cromlech's paperwork towards him and stamps him. "Very well then, your embassy building won't be too impressive, I'm afraid, Mr. Cromlech. Nothing like the embassy of the Principate or the Ghoul Watch, but I'm sure it's good enough for a goat man." Cromlech shakes his head in quiet disgust and we head to our embassy. The bureaucrat was right, it's none too impressive. The office is tiny and it shares its floor with the embassy for Icicle Spine and the empty embassy for the Empire of Thread. Did you do that, Altitas?
Dun dun dun.
"At least it's official," says Cromlech. "That's what counts when it comes to getting things done. Thank you for your help. I know that was a lot of money." "Are you leaving the crew?" "No," says Cromlech. "I'll hire someone to take care of minor business here, and I'll stay in your crew. I can do more good while traveling. I just ask that we visit here occasionally and check in." "We can make this work," he promises. It'll be a lot of work, but we can heal the rift between humans and goatmen. He hesitates, then shakes your hand. And I like to think we're dating again, visit Chrome-Like's embassy. Chrome-Like rushed in here as soon as you arrived in the city, and he's now busy giving orders to his aides, a mix of enthusiastic, well-intentioned activists and dead-eyed old bureaucrats who have been exiled here as punishment. When he can spare a moment, he gushes to you about the developments in his mission to improve goatmen-human relations. The goatmen have accepted an ambassador without flaying him. The city has agreed to classify goatmen as something other than miscellaneous livestock. And in a hushed voice, he tells you about other whispers he's heard during his time at the fountain. The courts are a hotbed of dark histories, sordid cover-ups, and assorted scandals. Before he can say more, he's distracted. Apparently, the goatmen have slaughtered another group of merchants, and Cromlech must immediately deal with the political fallout.
Well, those were not important merchants. They were poor ones because they have no money anymore.
True.
Because they're dead.
Do you want to read accompanying spire to Dr. Grindelow?
Sure. The little albino doctor holds a lantern to the spire's third eye and watches it twitch. He pokes it, withdraws his hand quickly before the eyelids catch his finger. He holds an assortment of occult tools over it, a bell that twists violently from his grip, a candle that melts in an instant, a book that refuses to open, a two-pronged stick that splits in half down the middle. It's something terrible and magnificent, says Dr. Grindelow with an eager grin. I would dearly like to speak with it. I need salt, warding iron, and some powerful relic.
We'll be back. Wrong button. Wrong button! Do I have an occult relic, or am I gonna have to save scum with dubious trinkets? I'm not gonna lie, I'd rather just buy salt than click that 3 times. Do do do. Do 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 do. Boom. Do do do. Do 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 do.
Do 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 do.
Yay, Dread Machinations. I don't know if you know this, but the Dread Machinations inside my brain are free.
Yay! Well, that's why you should start charging them rent. Get some moolah.
I need a Welwick. Yay! It's the kind of object men die over.
Oh, what is it?
It's just a relic. Okay, so Altotas, visit Cromlech's embassy is exploitable. You can save it and then immediately reload and do it again, just so you know. So that's an exploit you can plug. I need warding iron and salt. And more fetch mirrors. Ding, 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 ding. I like how I use these exploits and then point them out like a fucking turncoat coward.
It happens.
I handed him the items, Chris. What happened?
Dr. Grindelow is as small as a child, but he has tremendously disproportionate strength, just like a babe. He beats the warding iron into a shape one-handed, forming himself a medieval shield, and scatters the salt in 3 overlapping circles on the floor. Everyone stand in one of the circles, he says, lighting the candles that instantly melt. He draws some runes on Spire's face, snaps his fingers, and the boy falls asleep instantly. Then the doctor chants some words you think are first mystical, but are quickly realized are a grocery list. 3 cartons of milk, 10 whole eggs, finishes Grindelow in a booming voice. He drops your relic into a boiling cauldron of blood and sulfur, and the rushing column of smoke of shape starts to take form.
Wait and watch.
The smoke takes a shape like a man, but the eyes are broken windows. The skin is brick red and slate, chimneys bristle from the head and the shoulders. His mouth is a sewer grate, pouring torrents of sludge, and his long, outstretched fingers are cobbled streets. A city ghost. Take me to the city of God, snarls the ghost, its voice tragic. Traffic, haggling, and church bells. Take me to see them, and I will leave the boy's head. Without a word, it evaporates into eddies of smoke. Dr. Grindelow claps his tiny hands in delight. There's your solution, he said. What's my reward to be, eh?
What are the cities of gods?
Not the foggiest of clues, says the doctor cheerfully. I'll go and do some research in the Incarnate University if I were you.
Alright, I'll give you some money.
Thank you kindly, says Dr. Grindelow, bowing his head and tuckering the guineas beneath the nearby goat's head. Abijah's blessing upon ye.
I already have Abijah's blessing. Do you have anything else?
You get double blessing.
Yeehaw.
It's like double stuffed crust pizza. They put 2 types of cheese in it instead of just 1.
Alright, I guess I gotta, Guess I gotta replace Cromlech, huh?
That pair of pants is done. Shame.
Hang on, which one is Cromlech? What, Isn't he the Navigator? Yep, so I need Peter McNally or Valeria Bellrobber.
Valeria Bellrobber. You don't want Mr. Shark?
I can't, he'd replace somebody whose quest is in progress.
But Mr. Shark, he is a shark.
We'll do him later. We're gonna do everyone.
Mr. Shark is important because he's a shark.
Yeah, her. Dozens of small heptahedral boxes float above her, anchored to her fingers by lengths of twine. Inside, she tells you, she keeps captured ghosts who know the ways of the house better than any living mortal. You're not entirely sure the ethical implications.
Oh, we all know there's no implications. They're just all obligations.
Naturally. Alright. I want to try and open the southern doors and go see Raphael.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my fetch mirrors? How many do we got? 6. Nice. Oh yeah, I traced the edge of the house.
I see that.
Yeah. I
You
guess,
did a thing.
Yep, I guess Bisus is the closest.
Bisus, anomalous.
City of Angles. Alright, we gotta save because I've gotta fail a check.
Good luck.
Yay, free book. Oh, why did I take a passenger? I don't want a fucking mushroom person. Last one got booted off my ship, huh?
Aren't you the mushroom person, Prophet?
Shut up and speak to the Mad Angel Raphael.
For a mile around Zafrael's tower, the buildings are shattered and empty. Stray dogs fight in desolate streets. As you walk towards the broken tower, you're greeted by hazard yellow warning signs. Blasphemers' Quarter, the signs proclaim. Go no further. Danger of death. Danger of angels.
Wait, what? I thought I was supposed to fail Hang on. Do research. Which one am I supposed to fail there? Alright, anyway, Chris, read.
Okay.
Oh, so has that not happened yet, then, Ultitas?
You return to the Connecticut and thumb through your books. The Blasphemer's Quarter was cleared of life by the angels to prevent Zafrael from maddening the population with his hideous dreams. After several humans successfully crept into the quarter and spoke with Zafrael, the angels went one step further. They recruited the Archbishop of Angel Crab to call upon his anti-geometric god and warp the quarter's dimensions. Now even the most cunning intruder would find reaching the tower itself impossible and trap them indefinitely folded labyrinth.
Oh yeah, he asks me to steal a star while I talk to him, doesn't he? Let's visit the Archbishop of Angel Crab.
His church is a chaos of flickering interconnected triangles. Occasionally it spasms into a coherent shape, giving you just a few seconds to jump through the door. Once inside, the dimensions are mercifully more sensible. Although when you look at the ceiling high above, you see priests walking nonchalantly across it. The Archbishop himself is not stretched diagonally across his office. His limbs dangle like noodles, the rest of his body is a thin, rigid line. His face is squished less than an inch across from the tip of the lance. "Greetings," says the Archbishop kindly, "and what do you want?"
I want to cross Blasphemer's Quarter and speak with the angel Raphael.
The Archbishop regards you for a long, thoughtful moment. Few would dare ask a priest to turn against an angel, but then again, general public misunderstand angels. They think them servants and messengers of the gods. He spasms violently and settles into a more human form, which is, of course, wrong. Angels are fleas leeching divine power from the gods. They are tolerated only because some deities find them useful. A smile crosses the Archbishop's face and the wall behind him. Angel Crab, in its infinite complementation, spares them no thought. I helped them build their blasphemous quarter only because it was politically expedient. Perhaps I could be persuaded otherwise. He attempts to wink, but his eye vanishes entirely.
What's the price?
I wish to build a monument in Angel Crab's honor, but for that, I need materials. Words of madness, a catalyst of undoing, a shape pleasing to the intricate mind of my god. His one remaining eye inverts and stretches through the back of his head. Bring me these things and I will open you a path through Blasphemer's Quarter.
We have a deal, but also I'm going to try and do it anyway. Oh, I can't. God damn it. I'm going to try and make it through without him.
Okay.
The City of Angels is quiet at the best of times. Here it's utterly silent. It should only be a short walk to the broken tower, a half-mile or so, but the streets twist and turn beneath your feet. Little alleys cross bizarre distances and spit you out halfway across the city. You consult a map, but the Blasphemer's Quarter is just a blank spot filled with question marks.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I would do the same.
You're used to comprehending the incomprehensible. You recognize this as the handiwork of Angel Crab. Your mental map of the Blasphemer's Quarter changes. You imagine the streets as a fractured jigsaw. The alleys have been looping over and beneath each other, you realize. An impossibility of the sort that sent Angel Crab into skitters of joy. When you add a few extra dimensions to your thought process, it all begins to make much more sense. You forge a path, newly confident.
Is it fully sensible?
Should I be able to repeat that? I don't know if I should be able to repeat that, but anyway, let instinct guide me. You close your eyes and let your gut lead you down street after street. When you open them again, the tower seems closer. A shadow passes over you, an angel circling overhead. It wheels away. Keep obsessive track of your route. You want to take over, Chris?
The quarter is only mostly consistent, but it helps you keep track of the worst idiosyncrasies. Vigor Alley only looks 20 yards long, but deposits you a quarter-mile away. Bohemian Street loops around on itself, or was it Theodore Street? No, that was the one you avoided walking down because you saw yourself coming in that other direction. Was that a flicker of movement on a nearby rooftop? A few white feathers drift onto the wind.
Stay angry. Let's slip between alleys and avoid the gaze of angels.
You vanish down an alleyway, leaving only the angels far behind. At last, some peace from their stalking. For once, you manage to make some progress away from their searing gaze. Of course, you find yourself against eventually, but even the broken tower looms much closer. You're sure of it now. The angels watch you from the rooftops. They don't bother to hide. They gather in rustling masses, each with a dozen glaring eyes, staring after you in silent rebuke.
I made it, though.
The broken tower is far less impressive than its reputation. A squat and shattered thing, the doorway choked with weeds and rubble. You crawl through the gap and into the darkness beyond. Zafrael is waiting for you, crouched on a jutting parapet amongst the gargoyles. Most of the angels are eerily handsome, their lithe bodies in symmetrical perfection, marred only by the overabundance of eyes. Not Zarafel. He is starved and pallid and skinny, his long hair rank with filth and his scrawny chest pitted with holes. No, not holes, sockets. He had hundreds of eyes once, all over his body, but he has been gouged out. He has gouged out each and every one. Who has come to visit? He asks, sniffing, blind face questing back and forth. He spreads his wings, tattered things, scabbed with mange. There's rust on the breeze. Someone who spends too much time around metal. Do I detect a hint of ink? Ah, gods help us. A poet.
Let's do some polite conversation.
Poor old Zarafel, says the angel, picking at one of its empty eyes. He sleeps on broken stone in his dreams. Oh, you would hate to dream his dreams. They are metal bats beneath the city of bridges who want his blood, and a woman with old teeth who wants his brain. And now, to add to his woes, you come him promising tea and chatter? No, you did not cross the crab trader's maze for sweet talk. You came to ask a question.
I seek the locked door that leads to the orchard.
Zarafel affects an exaggerated sigh. He crosses his skinny legs, sending fragments of stone tumbling down to you, as I suspected. But why would I tell you? I told someone once before, and she betrayed me. As penance, I retreated to this miserable tower and ate my own eyes. Now you come to me, almost 2,000 years later, asking me for to break my oath a second time?
I have a good reason to know.
He listens to your pleas with a cocked head. His empty eyes crinkle. Am I weak of will or strong of character? I find myself convinced. He spreads his rancid wings and hops down next to you, half gliding, half dropping clumsily. A secret once told is a secret no more. Is that not the case? I told it once before, so why not tell it again? He grips his face, long nails tearing ribbons from his flesh. Oh, I feel ashamed, but I'm damned already. Hand me your map. He makes a marking just north of Panachak. There, he says, exhausted, the door that leads to the old lady's orchard. And I request few merits, and a request merits a favor in return. No, cut out my tongue, then cut off my hands. I am done. I am old and blind, and it seems I can't keep my mouth shut or my hands from writing. So, kindly, remove the offending parts in question.
Sure, why not? He's silent as the knife saws through his wrists, but the tongue gets him screaming.
When the messy business is done, Zarafel rids down on the rubble-strewn floor. He gapes at you, mouth welling with blood. Blinding pain in your head, you stumble, and are racked by visions. Teeth in the sky, a red mountain on the horizon.
You hurry from the tower, blinking away further visions. You heard that Sir Raphael's pain manifests in the minds around him. It seems you've only added to the problem. I did, however, fuck up what I needed to do. I fucked up what I needed to do.
Yeah, like how so?
You'll see. Go ahead and read.
Okay. Perhaps, the angel scratches his face with long, ragged nails. Are you familiar with the Lady of Blades? Once upon a time, she was the love of my benighted life. It was to her that I first told the secret on the condition she promised to never go to the orchard. She went to the orchard shortly after. Only I were not imprisoned here by the crab trader's maze. I could do this myself, but the task falls to you, Worm. Go to the Star Gardens in the City of Masks, steal one of the ladies' bright stars from a tree branch, and bring it back to me. Then I will tell you everything.
Sir Raphael clambers up one of the walls, grabs a pigeon from the rafters, and devours it messily. What are you waiting for? Go!
Seems legit to me.
It's fine. Perseverance.
Yep, I need to have those pants stretched out more. To haven't worn them long enough. I'm trying to figure out clothes that I'll be using this weekend, because probably can't just use sweatpants every day. As much as I would like.
Let's steal a star for the Mad Angel.
Okay. The Star Gardens release a new star every few weeks. They float to the ceiling, bright pumpkin-sized things that twinkle prettily and boost tourism. No one really knows why the Lady of Blades grows them, and she prefers not to say. An ornate iron wrought fence prevents entry.
I'ma steal it. I didn't. Nah!
Let me know when you attempt to fail.
Yeah.
Successfully.
Like that.
You stealthily climb the fence, get to the other side, and lose your footing. You land on the grass with a thud, and a shadow falls on you. The Lady of Blades is wearing an ankle-length ball gown. Her mask is a smiling sun, every outstretched ray replaced by a glittering sword. In one hand she holds a rapier, pointed casually at your throat. She does not speak, but then the quizzical tilt of her head is an unspoken question. Who are you? What are you doing here?
I came here to steal a star for the Mad Angels or Raphael.
When a thief comes here for my stars, I give them a little nick to the throat, says the Lady of Blades. Her voice is throaty and full-bodied. You could get drunk on it. The Carter Rider only requires a small cut, and trespassers are dead in less than a minute. But you are no ordinary thief, too interesting to dispose of so quickly. She reaches up and removes her sun-shaped mask. No, masked. To be able to do this, their intelligence is housed within the mask itself. When it is worn, the mask is an inanimate thing, and the mask wearer resumes control. But the lady smiles and continues talking in the same tone as before. Come, Canute, let us speak in private. It would ruin everything if anyone other than you saw me unmasked.
Sure.
Sorry, 1 second. The lady owns a little cottage at the center of the garden, surrounded by leafy, bright trees. She is silent as she strolls there with you. Once inside, she draws the curtain, rests her mask on the table, and sparks up a cigarette. Anyone can wear a mask, she says. You do not have to be masked with a capital M. I've lived for a very long time, long enough that any other city, my longevity would arouse suspicion and speculation. But here, I can don a mask, and they assume I'm an heirloom intelligence, passed down the generations just like the rest of them.
How do you know who I am?
The final game has begun. You are a piece of some significance.
What's the history between you and Raphael?
He was proud and not very bright. I was the beautiful woman who took advantage of him and learned the secret of the orchard's location. I was the villainess of this particular story, though all I did was ask a question. He was the one stupid enough to answer. A red smile, a wisp of smoke. Apart from her lips, her face is very pale. He is convinced I am heartless, that I have deceived him, beginning that I used him. Of course, the truth is much messier. I was very confused, only half in love and torn between two loyalties.
You're immortal?
Yes, for my sins, she says. It was enjoyable for a few centuries, but I'm getting rather bored of it.
Did you travel to the orchard then? Did you stab Persephone and leave her behind?
It wasn't just me, it was me, Gustav, and she stops, the words caught in her throat, a blister forms on her lips, and blood trickles down her chin. Yes, it was more complicated than that, but I was forbidden to speak of it.
The Star Gardens remind me of the orchard.
Very observant, she sighs. For centuries, I've been trying to recreate the magic of the orchard here in my little corner of the City of Masks, with help and support from the factory. So far, my efforts have resulted in nothing more than a rather pretty ceiling, and time is running out.
Are you going to give me one of your stars?
A long, long pause. The Lady of Blades stubs out her cigarette. She taps the hilt of her rapier. She stands and gazes through the window. Yes, she says finally. Her voice is leaden. But first, you must understand something. Zarafel intends to kill me. A sort of belated vengeance or misguided expression of ultimate love, or both. It doesn't matter. They're both equally pathetic. As a true immortal, I can only be killed by my own hand or by turning my power against me. The stars contain enough of my spirit, Zarafel could use one of them to destroy me. On the one hand, she says, I am tired of my endless life, and I've been working up the courage to die for centuries. On the other, it would be a shame to die to a third-rate disappointment like Zarafel. I will give you one of my stars on the condition that you kill me.
What? Is there no other way?
If you insist, I shall give you a star without having to end me. But then Zarafel will come after me. I am dead either way.
Can't you fight him?
I could kill him like a fly. For a moment her eyes flame, then the old members die.
She returns to her default expression of sour amusement, but why should I bother? I welcome death.
Shoot, I don't know which one I'm supposed to do. Up to task. What am I supposed to do here to get that achievement? I'll be back in a sec.
The last one seems wrong. Just so you're aware, Noot. Are you there, Noot?
Well, shit.
Just so you're aware, there is a bug here.
Why? What do you mean?
Look at the last line.
She marches out to fetch you a star? What about it?
That's supposed to be the comment for "I shall kill you" then.
Huh? No. No, she said
Like-
she said she'll grab me one whether I kill her or not.
No, but like I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be that like italic comment underneath the one above it.
No, I shall kill you then means I'll kill her and she'll give me a star. She marches out to fetch you a star means I won't kill her and she'll get me a star.
Maybe.
No, definitely.
Okay.
Yep. I think you just don't want to admit that you couldn't beat him.
Do you think you could fool me? Do you think I could see what you're trying to do? You can't play on my ego that easily. She pauses him, smokes another cigarette, gazes through her for a while. Don't doubt for a moment, though. I could beat him. She pauses. Another pause. The stupid fucker would probably think he won on merit, though, wouldn't he? She groans, subs out her cigarette. Fine, you win. When he comes to kill me, I'll slaughter him like a newborn lamb.
She gives you the star.
He returns them to the garden with a newly blossomed star blazing in her hands. Here. It's cool to the touch. The flames tickle. Now leave. I suppose I shall wait Zaraphel's arrival.
Was I supposed to succeed on that one, Altatas? Let's try and fail that one, see what happens. Alright, you say so. I failed the one I was supposed to fail then? Sounds like it. Alright, Harmony's rented a gallery. Chris?
The Badoko Gallery is swimming with artists, critics, dignitaries, enthusiasts. You know Harmony was well respected, but you suspect that even for her, this is an impressive turnout.
Alright. Good to know, Altatas. Thanks.
Hello, friend, says Julian, licking crumbs from his fingers. I suppose you were here to collect your winnings? Well, I'm not prepared to hand over anything yet, not unless I see Miss Ricketts' art with my own eyes. An announcer calls the crowd's attention, and you gather around the stage at the gallery center. A hush descends, and the curtains part, and Harmony steps forward in her bizarre glory, forked tongue, mouth fingers, blazing green eye, and terrible lipless smile. Welcome to the new frontier of art, she says. There are gasps, shout of dismay, and even a scream. A waiter's silver tray clatters to the floor. Several people turn and head for the exit. Harmony looks over it, all with a dreadful kind of triumph. But then, the audience starts to applaud. Shouts of brava, inspired. You have barely seen Harmony look so shocked and disappointed.
Oof. She turns and walks from the stage without another word.
You find her in a back alley, drawing ferociously on a cigarette. So that's it, then, she says. The establishment has accepted my work already. In 10 years, this will be passé. She gestures down at herself. Now I am frozen in time. Art can't grow. In a way, I suppose this meant I live forever. But all I've done is bring forward my sell-by date. Agree!
The reaction didn't seem welcoming to me.
You're right, said Harmony, grinding out the cigarette beneath her toe. This was just Miss Ricketts. You and Harmony turned to find you're sharing an alley with a trio of youths. One has a duck-like beak and blood-red eyes. The second has a tentacle instead of a nose and a peeled scalp. The third would be a relatively normal-looking young man, if not for the snail-like shell encasing his head. We read your manifesto, Miss Ricketts, says the tentacle nose. My name is Florence. This, he points at shell head, is Dumas. And the man with the beak is Lowfellow. Lowfellow quacks deafeningly. We are Nauvoo reconstructionalists, just like you.
And Harmony smiles. She takes the transformed youth to one side, and for hours she talks to them quietly about the patterns of the world and the proper shape of things.
Much later, back at the Connecticut, Harmony has lost all trace of her gloom. I expressed what I believed in, she tells you, in the truest way possible. At least 3 people heard me. The movement begins. Next, the world! She pours herself a brandy and raises it to toast you. Thank you, Canute. This has been the most fulfilling stretch of my career, and I could not have done it without you. Gained 2,060 apprehensions.
A blazing green eye, a lipless smile.
Why do we gain so many apprehensions? Is it something we've done?
Yeah, because my esoterica.
The stat is so high.
Yep. Alright, we will open the doors, and then we will call it a day.
Okay.
Let's open them doors at the south of the... south of the house. Oh, he...
Crunch.
Oh, he...
Crunch. Crunch.
For whom my ship crunch.
Crunch. Crunch. Crunch.
Unlock the door.
You slave over your journals and notes, scraps of poetry, places you've been, people you've met. You fall at your sleep, desk, tormented.
A night of clocks, huh?
You dream that your Connecticut is cradled once more in the Mozabar's palm, the cliff-sized clock face looming above. You are sitting near the Connecticut roof, and a smaller Morbazar sits next to you. Hello, mate, says the smaller Morbazar. He and she is puffing merrily on a pipe, which juts gently from the clock approximately where a mouth should be. You have unlocked the door. Good job. I knew you could do it. It's only the first door we need to get through, though. There's another further south that also needs unlocking. But forget that. I'm getting ahead of myself. We can't unlock the second door yet.
Why not?
Because the house can rearrange itself at will, he and Sisha says. 12 numerals become smoke mouths, each blowing a stream of pipe smoke, and is a healthy instinct for self-preservation. As soon as you unlock the second door, the house will realize what we're up to. It will shuffle all of the rooms around, and the scar we seek will be sent elsewhere, behind another dozen locked doors, probably, which would be a hassle.
There must be something we can do.
We have to find the trickster, says Morbazar. The first mortal, the person who commands the house, must obey. He can tell it not to reshuffle itself.
Who's the first mortal?
He was the first human to come to the house. Morbazar crosses his and her legs, blows a dozen intricate smoke shapes. He's largely to blame for the mess we all find ourselves in.
Why will the house listen to this person's commands? You'd always thought the house was a capricious and ungovernable dimension.
The house obeys him and no one else, says Morbazar. He technically owns the place.
Where can I find the first mortal?
That's the tricky part, he and she says. For centuries, hunters have combed through the house in search of the trickster, the governor, the imperatrix of dread, several gods, and of course, his mother. So he hid, shattered himself into smaller pieces, and fled to the darkest corners. All we need to find is a fragment. That would be enough.
Do you know where I should start looking?
I have my suspicions, he and she says, but I'm not going to just tell you, am I? Let's make a game of it. Go forth, explore, discover, dream, see if you can find him. He and she leans forward. The pipe has transformed into a dagger. Sorry to keep killing you. I really am working on another way to... A gurgle of trapped blood as the blade sinks beneath your ribs. Delicately.
When you wake, you're gasping for breath, chest seized by agony. Oh look, I already have the fucking thing. Alright. And I immediately found a new location.
Oh, what location did you find?
Somewhere south of the doors. Jabad and Skimmerskird.
Hmm.
Alright.
Well, thank you all very much for listening in to Noot's stream and me chat today. I hope you all have a great start for your week.
Yeah. Hope you all liked the video I cobbled together.
It was pretty good.
Thanks.
You might want to, if we're streaming, when we stream next Saturday, you might want to refer to people to the VOD link if it's up already.
Yeah, maybe. Just so people can watch it. Yeah, good point.
Discord.
Alright, we should clear out so that the next stream has time to set up. So, I've been Noot.
I've been Chris.
Have a good one.
Cheers all. Bye-bye.